Welcome, welcome. We're just here at the local pond, trying to catch some carp. How's everybody doing today? We're just getting set up, getting the bait in the water. Josie, welcome. I don't know about good fishing. We'll see if we can catch something. Release to the grease. Yeah, this is the same spot. I'm just a little bit further down the bank. I drove to a few different spots today. It's so hot out today. Everybody's swimming everywhere. So I'm back to the pond. It's not the greatest spot to fish, but I don't have to fight with everybody. But we're gonna get baited up here, get the pole in the water, and see if maybe the carp want to bite today. They haven't been biting real well here for me this year. Ugh. I made the mistake of leaving my bread dough out in my truck baking in the sun, so it's just super gooey. I don't know how well I'm gonna get it to stay on the pole here. We'll see. We'll just have to be very ginger when we... Yeah. See, I just lost one of my bread balls. Damn it. So I'm gonna try on this next one a little bit smaller pieces, so we can hopefully not get it, launch it off when we... Holy crap, 26 people. Welcome, welcome. Hope everybody's having a great day today. It's hot here. I don't know what the actual temperature is, but it feels blazing. But I'm gonna get the second pole rigged up here. Oof. The dough's so messy when it's not cold. Normally I bring a small cooler with me with ice in it, and it keeps the bread dough much more firm and less sticky. Super sticky right now. I'm gonna grab the other pole and get it set up. Bear with me a minute, guys, while I get this second pole set up. Josie, did SoCal have any more luck in his stream? I left it. Well, actually, I think it's still streaming on my computer at home, but I haven't been home in a couple hours. Dusty Gun says hi. Welcome, Dusty. How you doing today? We're just getting set up here. We're gonna fish at the local pond for a few hours and see if anything wants to bite tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna dink around with trying for bass tonight. I am not a bass fisherman. I think we're gonna stick to carp. I might throw one worm on this pole and we'll set it up as a carp slash sucker pole. Josie says, I don't think so. I believe he left. Wasn't a good day for SoCal. He was pissed. Dusty Gun says, I subbed for you. Thanks, Dusty. Appreciate it. Yeah, he didn't... When I was in his stream, he didn't seem like he was having the greatest time. That's tough when it's so hot out and nothing seems to be going your way. It's easy to get frustrated. I try not to get too bent out of shape when I'm fishing. Sometimes you catch stuff, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you lose lots of lures. You know, it's all part of the game. But I hope his day gets better. Never any fun getting skunked like that. Wait. Get my second pole holder set up. Oh, and just hooked myself on my worm or my pole. All right, let's get my ball of goo put back in my bag here and get the worm. Oh, them are some sad looking worms. Hopefully my other container's not so bad. Better, but still not so healthy. Man, I should have brought a cooler. This weather just murders the worms. Alright, let's get one. Let's get a bell on this guy. I'm gonna get this line out and I'll sit down and chat with you guys for a few. Alright, as usual, if y'all watch my stream, I use a high-low rig a lot. We got a little corky on the top one to float it up off the bottom. We're gonna throw a worm on that guy, and then there's a bread ball dipped in strawberry jello on the second hook. And then we're using probably a half-ounce hook. Or excuse me, half-ounce hook. Half-ounce hook, a half-ounce sinker. That'd be a big-ass hook. All right. Wants to go run in the giant sprinkler in the park across there. That looks nice. I would definitely swim in that or go run through it. All right. Josie says you missed him busting the pole into pieces and throwing it in the lake. Oh God. Oh, that definitely not a good day. Wow. Poor guy. Josie says he's cool as a cucumber. Well, he was mad, the tip broke off, and then he just beat the crap out of it. I mean, sometimes you do what you gotta do. Ooh. All right, let me try. I'm gonna try opening YouTube on my other phone here so I can move slightly closer to the poles. Really says, oh dang, could have possibly repaired the tip, but an E-rod is good too. Mr. Sam says hi. Welcome to the live, Mr. Sam. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Storm Chaser Hannah says hi everyone. I'm new here. I love fishing. Welcome to the live, Hannah. We all love fishing, so you are in good company here. We're seeing if we can catch anything here. This is just a local pond by my house. There's all kinds of stuff in here, but I have not been having real great luck here yet this year. It's just been so warm. But we have one carp pole out here. It was meant to have two bread balls on it, but one fell off when I cast it out, and I'm not gonna deal with that right now. This pole, we have one worm and one bread ball, so we're seeing if we can catch carp, some sucker, maybe perch, maybe bass. We're just chilling. If we catch something, great. If we don't, oh well. Ooh, let me turn the volume down here. EWO says hi. Welcome to the live, EWO. How you doing? Storm Chaser Hannah says, where are you from? I'm from Iowa. I am from Montana. I'm located in central Montana. The pond that we are at is called Largent Bend Fishing Access. It consists of 3 ponds, but it's in central Montana, just outside of Vaughn, Montana. I don't know if I don't know if I've been to Iowa or not. I used to travel around a lot on Greyhound bus, so I've been through a lot of the states. But I don't know if I ever went through Iowa or not. How's the fishing in Iowa? We on a kayak paddling to the dam past where it was blocked. He yelled at them. It was entertaining. Strange to say the least. Yeah, he definitely has no problem with yelling at people. I was watching one of his videos the other day that somebody pulled out in front of him when he was riding his motorcycle, and he let him have it. Release, I think it was good ways down. It was broken. Oh, you mean it wasn't just the tip that was busted off? I think that's what you're trying to say. So you guys, if you can, please let me know if the audio quality gets weird or if it gets loopy. I'm in a slightly different spot. The last stream that I had worked perfect the whole time that I was here, other than my battery died. I'm slightly down bank from there. It's in between 3 bars, so I think it should be okay. But if it gets wonky, let me know. Oh. Oh, she is toasty out here. His line kept breaking, and his dad was making him mad, wasn't fishing a popper right. Yeah, that's just one of them days where you just pack it in, try another day. There's no sense being out there if you ain't enjoying yourself. That's what I tell my son all the time when I bring him fishing. Storm Chaser Hannah says, I go fishing every day. Man, I wish I could go. I go fishing a lot, but I don't think I make it every day. I wish I had the time to do that. I definitely fish a lot this time of the year, though. Conquests of Humboldt County. Welcome to the live. That's a new name. I don't think I've seen this. What is... Oh. I didn't even get to see what he said. Apparently it wasn't nice. Mr. Sam says, what kind of bait do you use in that pond? Right now, so what I'm targeting right now is mainly carp. That's what this pull. I'm using bread balls dipped in strawberry jello. And it tends to work really well for carp in this water body. Corn can work real well for carp. So every once in a while I'll get a bite on worms with carp here, but that really depends on water body for carp, what they bite off of. Bread balls is what I found works best here. On this pole we are targeting basically any of the other species that are in here. I have worms. So there are white sucker in here that are bottom feeders, yellow bullheads, black bullheads, they're bottom feeders. Perch, which seem to be anywhere in the water column, yellow perch. Most people come here and fish for bass. Worms seem to work decently well for bass. Most people here catch them off of jigs and rubbers and throwing various different lures, top water or spinners. I've caught bass off of damn near anything in my tackle box here. Conquests of Humboldt County said, I'm just kidding. Yeah, whatever you said, the mod nuked it because apparently it wasn't funny. You better be nice to Rod Conquest or we can't be friends. Yeah, Josie, like I said, they're not gonna hurt my feelings. If it's directed at me, whatever. You know, if they're being mean to other people in the live, I don't tolerate that. But y'all can troll me as much as you want. You eat the carp? No, I have never eaten a carp. I just like to catch them because they're one of the biggest fish, or the biggest fish in the pond, and oftentimes in water bodies you're in, they're gonna be towards the bigger end of the fish. And honestly, they are one of the best fighters of any freshwater species I have ever caught. A male carp will give you one hell of a fight. Pound for pound, they're one of the best fighters out there. But no, I just catch and release. We catch them for the thrill of it. We take a picture, we show the camera, and we let them go back to get bigger so we can catch them another day. We bit windy here today, which is, I guess, nice because it's so warm out. But it just annoys me because the bell hops all over the place. Said you're a hippie that smells like fish to shorten. Alright. Well, I am most definitely not a hippie, but sometimes I do smell like fish because I do fish. Conquest says, yeah, I heard carp tastes like shit. I live on the west coast and fish for salmon when they're running up the rivers. Definitely know about catching fish just for the size of the fight. Yeah. Yeah, we have some decent salmon fishing around here. We have kokanee salmon in a lot of our lakes and reservoirs, and they're fun as hell to fish. They're one of the few species that, you know, will launch themselves out of the water and then they dive back down 20, 30, 40 feet, and they're fun. I know people do eat carp. I think a lot of it depends on, you know, how clean the water body is that it comes out of, how big they are, and obviously how you prepare it. Spillway Barbe, welcome to the live. What did you catch? We haven't caught anything yet. We've been live, I don't know, what have I been up, maybe 30 minutes, if that. We're targeting carp and white sucker and whatever else decides it's hungry for worm. Just killing some time. I went to a couple other places. I was gonna do some pike fishing today, pike or walleye, but everywhere I stopped was just a zoo. I didn't feel like fighting with swimmers and wakeboarders and boaters, and so just previous live I saw live catch trout. Right on. Yeah, I'd love to take you guys somewhere for trout fishing. I haven't found a good trout spot that has decent cell signal around here though. Josie says, just started spillway, nothing yet. Yep. You gotta love that salmon jump, flop, and the head shakes, and the long deep runs they do. Salmon, 10 to 10, best fighting fish I've had the pleasure of catching a ton of. They're definitely up there. They're probably top 3 for me. I think carp is still at the top of my list. If you've ever pulled in a 15+ pound carp, especially, you know, if it's a male carp, they fight. I think they fight better than a salmon. Salmon's a pretty close second though. And then from there, I would say probably pike. Maybe muskie, if I could catch a frickin' muskie. I was doing some research earlier today though. I found 3 new ponds and reservoirs that are within a 100-mile radius of me that they do intermittently stock tiger muskie. So I might have some new spots to try and catch my first tiger. The Fish, Wildlife, and Park here apparently has a. It's kind of like if you're a hunter, what do they call it? BLM, blockland management, where landowners can. I'm gonna nibble there. Anyways, they can make an agreement with the state that the state will give them a small subsidy as well as potentially stock water bodies that are on their property if they allow public access to it. And apparently there's a few ponds around here that I've never even heard of that are part of that program and they intermittently stock tiger muskies in them to take care of the white sucker population. So that was a little exciting. I'm gonna have to try and make it out to them sometime this year. Shorts to Go says barramundi is more fun. Well, we're talking about freshwater species, and I've heard of barramundi, and I want to say that's a saltwater species. That's not a freshwater species, is it? Conquest to Humboldt says, I've yet to catch a carp yet, but those 30, 50-pound king salmon are insane. Yeah, see, I've never caught a salmon that big. They get that big here in Montana. The kokanee, I want to say the record is somewhere over 30 pounds. But the biggest I've ever caught was right around 5, 6 pounds. But they're fun. They're tougher to catch, though. The salmon are a really temperature sensitive species, so they tend to be much deeper in the water column, and you got to run downriggers or heavy leaded weights to get down to where they're at. I've never fished targeting them specifically. I end up catching them as a bycatch when I'm trout fishing. Very fun though. Conquest says, I mainly fish saltwater, but salmon is the only thing I ever really target in freshwater. Right on. I'm in the middle of Montana. We don't have any saltwater around here. Jeff Bezos says, what's he fishing for? I just joined. Well, I am fishing for, and this is me over on the side of the camera here. I'm staring at my cell phone over here. So I don't have to look at the glare, and you don't have to look at my ugly mug the whole stream. I am fishing for carp on the pole that's in the pole holder with the bell on it. We're baited up with bread balls. And the pole that I'm holding, I have one bread ball, one worm, and we're targeting sucker, perch, bass, bluegill might bite it, pumpkin seed. There's supposedly trout in here. There's little bullheads. There's all sorts of different things. So I have one that is targeting a specific species, and this pole's just kind of a whatever pole. Cassandra King says, hi. Cassandra, welcome to the live. How you doing today? Glad to have you here. Big Bass says, my PB Northern is a 14 pounds. That's a good sized Northern. Yeah, that's my, Northern is my favorite species to target. If I could fish for Northern all day, every day, I would be a happy man. My biggest Northern I caught 3 years ago was 22.5 pounds. She was a chunker, 42 inches. Spillway Barbe asks, any catfish? We do have in this water body, there's what are called yellow bullheads or black bullheads, and they are a small catfish. They only get to be 6 to 9 inches. In this water body, probably about 6 inches, so they're just itty bitties. Amy Jackson, welcome to the live. How you doing? Big Bass says, yes, they are so fun, dang. Yeah, that's my favorite species to target. Northern pike are freaking fun. I do have a handful of water bodies around here that have decent sized pike in it. It's pretty rare to catch one, 40 plus inch around here. If you go into western Montana, we have the Clark Fork River, and they have some of the biggest pike in the state. They're quite common, over 40 inches over there, but it's about a 3 to 4 hour drive for me to get there. Maybe later this year, definitely next year, I'm going to be taking a few trips over that way and trying to do some live streams. Because in this area, I have yet to find really a good spot to stream for pike fishing. I do go quite often to a reservoir around here called Pishkin Reservoir and catch the crap out of pike, but they don't really have big ones in there. The biggest one that I've caught out of there was well under 20 pounds. Most of the time they're 2, 3, maybe 5, 6 pounds. I'll get lucky every once in a while and snag one a little bit bigger than that. Big Bass says, go up to the boundary waters. They're huge. What are you referring to? What boundary waters Are you in Montana or no? I'm not sure if you're referring to somewhere in Montana or what. Minnesota to Canada. Okay. Yeah, I'm in northern Montana. I'm just under 200 miles from the Canadian border. So I'm pretty far north. We do have one water body that I fished for the first time. I don't know, it's probably 3 weeks ago. Is that the wind or is that a nibble? Oh, that was a bite. That was more than a nibble on this pole. Hold on a sec, guys. We might have our first fish. Maybe. Maybe. You gonna take it? No, it's taunting me. Okay, come on, let's go. I wish I could go right now. It is 6:45 at night. By the time I got there, it would be dark. And while I do love to night fish, I am not set up for night fishing right now. I need to get some light set up and better batteries, and I would love to do some. They bite better at night to me up in Minnesota. See, I've always heard pike are better to fish for at that I get really good bites early morning, really good bites, basically dawn and dusk. And I fished all dang night and not got a single bite. So I don't know if that's just water body specific or if it's, certain parts of the water bodies. But I've not had great luck night fishing for pike. Oh, Ollie, oil. We're just going to call you O. It says Maria Concepcion Arguello. I no speak the Spanish. No hablas español. If that's, I don't even know if that's Spanish. I'm being slightly ignorant right now. That is not English, and I don't know what you're saying to me. But no, I've been trying to get my boat. I need to take a break from fishing and spend some time working on my boat. So I can get my lighting set up on it so I can do some night fishing from the boat. I would love to do some trolling at night and... That was a good bite. Did I get it? Oh, come on. That was a nice bite. That one felt like a sucker. I am the king of missing the hook sets here. I don't know what my deal is. TTV Tommy says hello. Hello, TTV Tommy. Welcome to live. How you doing today? Where are you from? We're out here in central Montana. We're trying to catch a carp and whatever the heck is hungry for a worm in this pond. We got a group of kids over here swimming and dinking around. It's so hot out here today. My truck said it was like 94. I don't know if I believe the temperature in my truck, but whatever the temperature is, it's toasty here. Big Bass says, I use clowns trolling. They're a lure. I don't know if I've ever heard of a clown lure. What does it look like? Is it a spinner? Is it a crankbait? What type of lure is it? XA Aaron. Well, Aaron? We'll call you Aaron. Gulf of America here. Nice. I bet there's some wonderful fishing down in well, you're calling it Gulf of America. I assume you mean the Gulf of Mexico, which has been posthumously renamed Gulf of America. Anyway, I bet there's good fishing down there. TTP Tommy says, I'm going good and from Australia. Oh, wow. You're from the other side of the planet. You know, I've always wanted to go to Australia. I watch all them, the opal mining shows, and there's a couple of YouTube channels where there's gold miners out there in Australia. I always said when I retired, I wanted to retire and go fishing and digging for shiny shit. And Australia seems like it's the place to be for digging for shinies. How's the fishing out there? Big Bass YT says it has a red nose and it's a jerk bait. Okay, okay. Yeah, when I'm trolling for pike, there's a myriad of different things that I use. It really depends on time of the year, and sometimes you got to run through the gauntlet to figure out what they're looking for. Like this last trip that I went over the weekend, I went and did trolling for pike at Pishkin Reservoir here, and I used nothing but stick baits. So like the 7-inch floating Rapalas, a handful of others. They're, you know, medium depth diving. They're 7 to 9 inch, super skinny. People call them hit sticks or stick baits. Trolled those and did really well. Last year I was trolling primarily crankbaits, little short, fat, stubby ones, like a Bandit 100 or the Berkeley Dredgers, deep diving crankbaits. And man, towards the end of last year, I was just absolutely cleaning up on those. I think the last pike trolling trip I took last year, in 8 hours, I landed 19 fish and lost about as many. So it was a just incredible fishing trip. Oh says something in a language I don't understand. I'm sorry, bro. I only speak English. Crow, how you doing, man? We are just killing some time. We're fishing for carp and sucker and maybe bass or perch. We're just dinking around. I keep missing it. Sorry for the odd noises here. I'm trying to talk. I get a jerk and these fish are trolling. I think it's the bluegill. That has got to be the reason I'm not getting hook sets. I'm using too big of a hook for bluegill, because the bluegill are like 2 inches here. They're just tiny. Josie says, oh, Bouncer, welcome. Bouncer says hi and have a wonderful evening. So you're in and out. Appreciate you stopping by, Bouncer. We're having a good night. I hope you have a wonderful evening as well. Josie, nah, you didn't miss anything. Bouncer says I was watching the moon come up over the mountain. It was faster than I expected. Moon? You must be talking about where you're from. I don't see a moon. There's no mountain over here. We still got, it's almost 7 o'clock, so we have about 3 hours till sun starts setting here. Ralph Patazowick says, catch a big one for me. I'm a junior fisherman. I will do my best to catch a big one for you, Ralph. If we can get, if you hear this bell jingle, it's a big one. It'll be a carp. Crow says, need to get that tank under the bridge still. Yeah, I contemplated stopping there. Right now, they just announced, I think on July 1st, so about a week ago, what they call hoot owl restrictions on that river, the Sun River. We've been having such a heat wave here that it's really increased the water temperature. And anytime there's 3 consecutive days where the water temperature is above 73 degrees, they implement hoot owl restrictions here, which basically limits your fishing from midnight to 2 p.m. I think. So 2 p.m. to midnight, you can't fish. The water's too warm. From midnight to 2 p.m., so basically you could night fish there, but not day fish. So unfortunately, I can't fish in that water body right now. James says, have you caught a bass? And says, hi, James, welcome to the live. Haven't caught a bass here on the stream today, but yeah, this water body has largemouth bass in it. They're pretty picky though. I've not consistently been able to pull bass out of here. They're in here though. TTV Tommy says, I went to Queensland for a fishing trip and got like 20 fish. Right on, TVT Tommy. What kind of fish are you catching over there in Queensland? Isaac the Goat says, oh, check the rod, it's moving. We got a bit of a breeze here. It's kind of swaying in the wind. I got a bell on the end of this line, and it's hooked up with bread balls. So we're targeting carp. If there's a bite on there, you won't just see a little nibble. The bell will definitely jingle. You might even see the pole bend over and almost touch the ground. Tommy says, I just got my junior gun license yesterday. Congratulations. I assume you had to go through your hunter safety, gun safety. West Plays, what's the biggest fish you've caught? Biggest fish I've caught is a 22.5 pound, 42-inch northern pike. Animal World says, hi. Welcome to the live, Animal World. How you doing today? Bouncer says, I'm lurking. Lurk away, Bouncer. Thanks for joining the live and hanging out. TTV Tommy says flathead. Oh, flathead. So you're catching catfish. We might have flathead here in Montana. I don't think we do. I think the biggest species of catfish we have here is channel cats. They get pretty big, 40, 50 pounds. Biggest one I've caught though is 15, 16 pounds. Josie says, tell me what's a junior gun license? Oops. Sports and Fishing Edit says, hi. Sports and Fishing Edits, welcome to the live. How you doing? Bouncer says, you know I'm always lurking. I appreciate it. The more people in here, the longer people are in here, it helps the channel. It helps YouTube see that people are interacting, and they guide more people in. Doing well today though. It's not often I see, more than 10, 15 people in here. And this whole stream, it's been showing 30, 40 people. So lots of people chilling at home right now. Is it hot for everybody else? My truck said it was like 92 or 94 degrees on the drive over here. Just miserably warm. Oh dang, mine, I think I'm behind. Let me skip to live here. I think I'm always falling behind on the comments here, guys. Let's see. Moonlight Cookie says, Hatsune Miku. Welcome, Moonlight Cookie. How you doing? Bouncer says, everyone watching, please give thumbs up and subscribe. Appreciate that, Bouncer. And yeah, anybody that's giving a thumbs up and subscribing, much appreciated, y'all. Muhammad Karad says, hi. Welcome to the live, Muhammad. How you doing? Moonlight Cookie says, sorry, my autocorrect said the Hatsune Miku part. Your autocorrect yelled Hatsune Miku? Kind of autocorrect you run in there. Faith and Tackle says, hope all is well. Wishing tight lines for you. Appreciate that, Faith and Tackle. We are, I don't know, I've had a couple nibbles on this line. One of them felt like a sucker. The rest of it feels like just bluegill messing with my line. This is the pole I'm hoping we catch something on, is the carp pole. What's going on, Moonlight Cookie says? We're just chilling, killing some time, trying to see if the fish are hungry. Trying to catch a carp. That's my ultimate goal here. I've been trying to improve upon my pond best here. This is just kind of my local pond, so I'm always out here trying to catch bigger fish than what I've caught here before. And my biggest carp that I've pulled out of here so far in about 3 years of fishing here is 8.8 pounds, which is not a tiny carp, but it's not a monster either. But I know that during spawning season, I've seen some 10, 12 pounders lurking through here. So that's what I'm hoping we can hook up on. A nice fat carp. But there's all sorts of stuff in here. Perch and bullheads and bass and Moonlight says, also, I'm not totally a Miku simp. I'm not judging. You simp for whoever you want to simp for. I am not sure. Is Miku Hatsu, that, why does that sound familiar? Is that the artist that created, oh God, all of those cartoons? Um, and at the moment, every one of the names are evading me. It's like a Japanese cartoon guy is a Vocaloid. All right, I have no idea what a Vocaloid is. You're gonna have to explain that if you want me to understand what you're talking about. And a Vocaloid is a Japanese music software. Okay, so Hatsune. Oh, is that the like singing chick avatar Japanese thing? Maybe. My girlfriend is super into Japanese stuff, and she was always spazzing about this anime dancer chick. Indeed, she is. Okay, so I think that she's got a one of those. It's like Guitar Hero, but for dancing, and she like dances with, I think, that character. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. Why me says, can you get me a new fishing rod, please? What's wrong with your old fishing rod? I mean, honestly, I do have. Last year, oh, there's a, you can see a couple of little bass swimming by in the water here. I would move the camera down and show you, but every time I touch the camera while I'm here, YouTube spazzes out and crashes my live. But they're swimming in the shallows here. TBT Tommy says, hi, I'm back. I just had breakfast. Oh yeah, that's right. You're on the other side of the planet. I was like, breakfast? It's nighttime. What'd you have for breakfast? Limey says, my brother was. He jumped on it and he broke it. Well, that's a shame. That's frustrating. But what I was gonna say is, last year while fishing, I pulled 2 fishing poles out of the water. They're chilling in my garage and they're all crusty and nasty. But I also did find like a brand new kid's pole on the bank one day that I went fishing. It looked like somebody had literally just taken it out of the package, spun some line on it, and maybe cast it a couple of times. But it's like a little 5-footer, I think, a little ugly stick. And I don't really have a use for it. Maybe I could send it to you. I don't know. Where do you live? Moonlight says, I haven't gone outside for a long time. I promise I don't need help. You know, I mean, winter months, I tend not to go outside very much at all here, other than to drive my girlfriend to work. So, I know how that goes. It's nice to get outside sometimes, though. That's why I like fishing. It's an excuse for me to get out of the house and get away from the computer. I spend too much dang time in front of a computer. 32 likes. Y'all are awesome. Appreciate y'all hitting the like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. TBT Tommy says eggs and bread. That's a good breakfast. I like to, I haven't had it in a long time. I need to dig out. I have an egg poacher. It's like a pot that has a lid thingy on it that's got little metal inserts in it. And you put the eggs in the insert and you put water in the bottom and you put the lid on it. It basically boils your egg, steams your egg, but it leaves the yolk like super runny inside. And you take that and you toast the bread and then you dip your eggs in the toast, and man, that's good shit. Making me hungry just thinking about it. Why me says Texas. Well, again, the pole, it's a kid's pole. It's a tiny pole. I mean, how tall are you? A 5-foot pole isn't going to do, you know, an adult or somebody who's more than 3-4 feet tall. It ain't going to do you much good. Also, I don't want to see your rod referenced to your username. Hey, you're looking at my rod net right now. That's the only rod of mine you will ever see. I promise. 570 PA Angler says, good evening. Checked out Sunset Short you had talked about. Very nice view. Oh, that's right. The Willow Creek Reservoir. Isn't that a pretty sunset? You know, sunsets in general are gorgeous, but that one just for some reason, it hit me a different way. I sat out there and I totally put the pole down and I didn't even care about fishing anymore. I was just staring at it. So pretty, just breathtaking. Now I'm scared of your rod. Thank you so much. Well, I apologize for scaring you. That was not my intent. Josie J says that was a beautiful sunset. Yeah, I thought so. I'm glad y'all agree as well. It's just, you're up there, you're right in the Rocky Mountains. That's fairly close. I mean, what you can see in the distance is the Continental Divide. It's the highest point in the U.S., in the continental U.S. So having that as the backdrop, and you know, your forefront is Willow Creek Reservoir, which is, you know, a mountain lake, mountain reservoir, mountains in the background, gorgeous fiery sunset. It's just that is perfection to me. TVT Tommy says, what's your PB? PB for what species? Well, thanks for checking it out, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. I mean, that's why I posted it. It is, I mean, I take a lot of pictures of sunsets and sunrises. I like the beauty of nature. That one, like I said, it just hit me different. That is, I think, one of my favorite sunsets I've ever seen, and remembered to bust out the camera and record it rather than just seeing it. Bass, I'm not much of a bass fisherman. I've caught bass in the past. My PBs are fairly pathetic. Largemouth is just under 3 pounds. Smallmouth is right at 3 pounds. Moonlight, you and my girlfriend, I think, would probably get along. She's totally into that Hatsune Miku stuff. You don't know why your keyboard keeps saying that. Uh-huh. I think maybe you suffer from Tourette's of the Hatsune Miku variety. Coleman Davis says, biggest fish ever, northern pike. 22.5 pounds, 42 inches. That's my biggest fish ever that I've landed. I had a carp on the line last year that was double that size. It would have been a state record if I managed to get it in the net. It had to have been close to 50 pounds. 50 pounds, over 30 inches. Like if y'all have ever seen a propane tank, like that, you know, you put under your barbecue. The carp was basically a propane tank. It same size, same dimensions. It looked like a carp-shaped propane tank. Just massive. Your biggest fish was 45 centimeters. You will have to translate that to inches. What is that? That's over 30 inches, I think. I can't remember how many centimeters is an inch. I'm sorry. I'm American. We don't use metric system here, other than for inches. Adam Keefe says smallmouth. Smallmouth, my biggest was 3 pounds. I don't remember how long it was. I just recently caught it here at the Missouri River. I've never really gone out and targeted smallmouth. It's been just a bycatch. Again, oftentimes I try and, where I can, I fish with more than one pole, and I like to always put in a pole with just worms on it. Worm is kind of the universal fishing bait. I don't know of a species of fish alive that won't eat worms. So if you don't know what they're biting on or what's in a water body, throw a worm on the pole. And our bread ball is gone. And we still have a little chunk of our worm, surprisingly. I thought for sure they'd robbed our worm. So I'm gonna throw another worm on this pole. Be right back. But everybody that's in chat, type right now, what is your favorite fish to catch, and what is the biggest one that you've ever caught? I'm curious to see what's y'all's favorite and what's your PB. My favorite is northern pike and tiger muskie if I could catch one. But northern pike and 22 pounds, 42 inches. She was a chonker. Carp is probably my second favorite species to target. And my biggest carp is just under 20 pounds. That I've landed at least. Like I said, I almost had a frickin' 50 pounder last year. It was a beast. And I got it all the way to the shore and was fighting with it, trying to get its fat butt in my tiny little net. And it flopped around and busted my line off. Is that a bite or did I think I might have hit it? Moonlight says, you know, your girlfriend is very, very awesome for liking Vocaloid. Tell her I said that. I will. Oh, she's all about Japanese stuff. That's her favorite. TTV Tommy says it's 17 inches. Okay, that's a good sized fish. Does the lake go around that center area? Yeah, so this is a pond. So you can see that's an island right over there. Past it is another island, and then what you see over there is the far shore. And then it goes down probably about 50 yards to my left and maybe 100 yards to my right. It's not a very big pond. I want to say it's about 5 acres. Lakeisha Hogue says catching a big ones. We are catching absolutely nothing so far. We've had a few bites. I've been here, I don't know, an hour, a little less than an hour, I think. Alex Martinez says, hi. How you doing, Alex? Welcome to the live. Hope you're having a great night. We're all just hanging out, relaxing. 570p Angler says, I went out fishing this evening for maybe an hour, forgot the bug spray at home and got pretty bit up good. Now I'm just waiting for the West Nile to kick in so I can get a good night's sleep, right? Get yourself some African sleeping sickness while you're at it. Now sometimes the bugs get really bad. At this particular pond, normally they don't start bugging me until basically right around sunset, dusk. I don't know if it's just too hot out right now or what, but the swarms start coming out when the sun starts setting here. And thankfully I do have a can of death in my fishing bag. So when they do start bothering me, I spray myself down. But that sucks. Always a bummer to get out fishing and realize you forgot something, whether it be your bug spray or your net, your favorite lure. Worms, that one's the worst to forget. You get all the way to your fishing hole and you go to bait your hookup and you're like, huh, yep, I forgot the worms. Done that a few times, and then you spend the rest of your fishing trip out trying to harvest bugs and whatever you can find that looks like fish might eat it. SoCal might have just put a video of his blow up and pole breaking. I don't know, man. I think if I tantrumed and busted my pole, I don't know if I'd post that. Maybe, I don't know. Then again, I've never tantrumed and broke a pole before, so I try not to get that worked up over pretty much anything in life. It happens though. We all have our days. Mason Ballard, welcome to the live. Caught any yet? No, unfortunately, no. We have not caught anything yet. I've had a few bites on my worm pole over here, but as usual, I have failed to execute. I did not set the hook, so I've basically just been giving the little fishies snacks. On this pole over here, Jason Scott, welcome to the live, by the way. We have bread balls dipped in strawberry jello, so we're targeting carp with that one. On the pole that I'm holding, we have high-low rig set up with one worm on the bottom and one on a little corky that floats her about 16 inches off the bottom. So we're targeting with that white sucker, bullhead, possibly perch, possibly bluegill. The bass might bite on it, the trout might bite on it. There's a whole myriad of not big fish, but lots of different species that are in this water body that might get hungry and give the pole a whack. Robert asks, what's your favorite fish to eat? Everybody's always surprised when I say this, but northern pike. It's my favorite fish to fish for, and it's my favorite fish to eat. And a lot of people, I don't think have ever tried pike, or they didn't prepare it properly. So if it's not prepared properly, it's not very good. It's a very fishy tasting fish. But if you bleed it when you're ready to take it, or before you're ready to take it out of the water, immediately put it on ice. And then when you clean it, if you get rid of the bloodline, the red meat that's on the outside of it, they're very, very good eating. It's a nice firm white meat. 570p, is there another chat somewhere that I'm missing? I don't think so. Why? Am I behind? What do you mean by that? 570. Where about are you in Pennsylvania, by the way? I shouldn't really say I lived in Pennsylvania for three months. I visited Pittsburgh for 3 months. I was just passing through. It's an interesting city. Y'all have some freaking massive, aggressive, scary turkeys down there, over there, up there. It was only when the pole broke, you didn't post it all. Okay, Josie. Yeah, I wish I still had the phone that I had when I visited Pennsylvania years ago. I had taken a handful of videos of the giant ass angry turkeys y'all have down there in the middle of the damn Pittsburgh, like urban area up by that. I think it was called, it's either South Hill or Mount Washington, something like that. It was on the south side of Pittsburgh. But the house that I was staying at, I'd go out in the backyard to smoke a cigarette, and a gang of turkeys would wander through and aggressively frickin' force me back into the house. Huge and not at all afraid of humans. And I just missed another bite. Dude, I swear, the next time that I throw this out, I should just put frickin' micro hooks on here. I really should. I'm not a big fan of catching baby bluegill, but if that's all that's gonna bite and they're just gonna keep stealing my worms, they at least owe me a picture. Mason says, my pole broke once because I hooked an alligator snapping turtle, maybe over 100 pounds. Holy crap. Now, I do this pond last year, I think I caught 3 turtles accidentally. They frickin' munch on the bread balls. But I have a handful of videos of me catching and releasing those on my YouTube. But they're like, you know, max size dinner plate size, not no 100 pounds. That's a scary ass turtle. Jason Scott says, try red hot, same as smoke links and dipped in Dr. Pepper. Put it on a line for the lake and cast yours. Jason, that sounds like catfish bait. Are you telling me carp will eat smoke links dipped in Dr. Pepper? I don't know. I mean, I guess I used to, last year I experimented with a ton of different baits here at this pond for carp, and I did get a handful of carp off of hot dogs. I had white sucker more often on the hot dogs than I had the carp, though. And the tiny little nibbles on the pole. He's frickin' bluegill. Jason Scott says fish will always eat. Right, Jason, but are you referring to carp? What are you targeting with your red hots? Big Jim says make a dough ball and in the recipe put grape jelly. I'll have to try that. I'm always looking for new and interesting carp baits. Right now, my favorite that I've been fishing is ready to bake pizza dough dipped in strawberry jello. And it works really, really well. The only drawback I found on it is it doesn't stay on the pole all that well unless you keep it on ice. So like right now, I accidentally left my bag of bread dough in my truck today. And it warmed up and it's just so goopy and sticky. I was honestly been contemplating, I know this sounds weird, but I want to try taking some of the ready to bake pizza dough that I have, dip it in the strawberry jello. So basically make some dough balls up, you know, pre-powdered, and put it on a tray and throw it either in my toaster oven or in the microwave. And basically just not cook it to like, you know, full bread consistency, not like fully crusty, but just put a crust on it, dry it out somewhat. So it's still got some, you know, pliability to it, but so it's not quite so gooey. But that's Splodgy says carp like boilies. So Splodger, I picked up last year, I ordered, because boilies are not really a thing here in the US. That's a European method for fishing for carp. And I could be ignorant. I've never seen Americans use that methodology. But I ordered some and, you know, the boilie hooks and that whole setup. And I fished for a solid week at this pond with them. And I didn't get a single frickin' bite. And we're getting some nibbles here. The boilies that I got, super high rated, you know, a handful of YouTubers and a couple of, you know, really experienced European carp fishermen that's, you know, what they do. I mean, they came highly recommended. So they're not low quality boilies, but the carp here, they don't like them. I have a whole bag of them still in my freezer. You know, I think I ran through half a dozen in that week of fishing. Jason Scott says catfish. Okay, yeah, that did sound like a catfish bait, especially bluegill, but only use catching those in river fishing, bend of a river. All right, Josie says, I think Cindy uses breadcrumbs and fruit. There might be another ingredient I'm forgetting about. Yeah, she uses, and a lot of people on the East Coast, Southeast in particular, they fish with what they call pack bait. And it's a whole conglomerate. Everybody makes their pack bait differently. Usually it's got, you know, some kind of bread product in it, oftentimes corn mixed in it. Some will throw Kool-Aid or Jello, you know, something with some coloring or